Gorgeous Ocala, Florida, the limestone capital of the world.
Like
in Gainesville and Orlando. Gorgeous. It's cold up here in Memphis, but it's New Year's Eve, folks. Last show of this year, technically, of our show. We'll have shows all throughout the day and night. We got
we'll leave you at 26. We're coming back.
Oh yeah, we'll be back Friday. We got Shane Matthews, man. This is one of the smartest guys you'll talk to on football, college or pro, batting in the leadoff position while he's driving. Ken Capps, Football Writers Association of America, out at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. He's loaded up with information. And we've also got in the second half, Dudley Dawson, Inside Arkansas up in Fayetteville, and Vince Ferrara, the sports animal in Knoxville. What's going on with Tennessee? 8-5. 4 of their 5 losses were to AP-ranked teams, but Tennessee didn't beat a team all year long with a winning record. How frustrating is that? But how does that compare to the rest of the SEC and college football? Hey, do us a favor. Take a picture with your cell phone of the QR codes. We're broadcasting live, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. 8 channels. We're streaming live simultaneously. If you don't catch us live, always watch us at your leisure. A podcast is like that flower that you water early in the morning, and then the sun gets on it, and it just blooms throughout the day. Isn't that right? That's what you meant.
That's not my analogy with the post.
Okay. But they get bigger as the day goes on.
We'll work on it. We're bringing our guest who's driving down the road somewhere in America. We're joining audio, Mr. Shane Matthews.
Shane, how you doing?
So, I'm good, guys. How y'all doing? Happy New Year.
Great. Happy New Year to you, man. Shane, I'm looking at the portal right now, and I'm saying to myself, holy cow, who's left where? Look at Florida. Look at Auburn. Look at Iowa State for that fact. They have 17 players right now on their roster. I don't know how they're going to have winter workouts or spring practice. But, you know, Shane, we've been watching this fire burn, and we've watched it continue to burn, yet no one has called the fire department. At what point does someone pull the fire alarm on the side of the wall on college football?
It needs to happen soon. It's a mess. I never was a fan when NIL hit. Obviously, the transfer portal, you know, back when I played, you had to sit out when you transferred. I've kind of come around to where you could have maybe one free transfer, but after that, I think you need to be penalized and have to sit out. So college athletics is a mess. I'm not a fan of, as I said, the transfer portal or NIL, but something needs to be done quickly because it's a disaster right now.
It is. And you think about, all right, let's look at you as an example. You were at Florida 88, 89, 90, 91, and 92. Is that correct? Those 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. So you came from Pascagoula. Your dad was your coach, born in Cleveland in the Delta. Got to give a shout out to the Delta. And how many times, I know you're going to be honest because you are, how many times did you think, man, this isn't going to happen? How many people told you it was not going to happen? And how many times did you would you have hit that button? But your character, your DNA is completely different than these kids today. But did you ever think about leaving Florida?
I did. You know, my first 2 years, I didn't even dress out for a game. And I grew up an Ole Miss guy. My dad played at Ole Miss. My mom was a cheerleader there. So I was like, you know what? I asked my parents, said, can I transfer to Ole Miss? Because I knew I could play there. And they're like, no, you're going to graduate from the University of Florida. So I just kind of accepted it. And then thank goodness Coach Spurrier got the job, kind of gave everybody an opportunity to showcase what they could do. And I kind of thought the way he thinks, and things worked out, thank goodness, for my 3 years under him.
Yeah, they definitely worked out. I mean, and Buddy Martin talks about it when someone asked Steve Spurrier in the preseason who his starting quarterback would be, and he said, I don't know, but I bet you I know this, he will lead the SEC in passing. So the old adage, anything in life worth having is worth fighting for. And then you played 14 years in the NFL, Shane. If you could sit down and talk to a quarterback, you picked the school that was maybe down on the depth chart, but believed in himself, what advice would you give him in today's world? I mean, because there's nobody doing this anymore.
Well, I think the biggest thing, I look at the quarterback position totally different than general managers and these people that have these websites that rank quarterbacks. I look at guys that understand the system, have a knowledge of the game, that are accurate and can anticipate when throwing the football, and are mental and physically tough. I never once said anything about arm strength, arm talent, as people like to call it now, how fast they run the 40, how big, how strong they are.
Yeah.
None of that has anything to do with playing quarterback at a high level. Yes, those type of players that are big, strong arm guys, they're going to have some splash plays throughout a game that people go, wow. But consistency is what makes good quarterback play, and that's what drives your football team. Quarterback is the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports. It's very hard to play, so you have to be consistent for your team to have success. So I would just tell, the kids that aren't highly rated or what have you, just keep plugging away. Find a coach that believes in the type of things that I just mentioned, and there are coaches out there that do. And your time will come. And I love to look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was the last guy drafted. Hell, at least he got drafted. I didn't even get drafted, but he's got great feet. He's got great fundamentals. He knows where to go with the football. He's accurate. He anticipates. He's a hell of a player. There's a lot of guys like that in the NFL, but then there's a lot of the other guys that were the big, strong arm guys that can't play a lick.
Yeah. And you think about the offenses, what you learned at Florida in the first 2 years, you didn't dress out. Wow. In today's world, I mean, I bet that just doesn't even come close to happening. And yet, I'm looking at the comments on here. Kelly Lee, greed and stupidity. Not only 20-year-olds, but adults too. They're enablers. I mean, you and I have kids, Brendan, too, and don't give your kid allowance if they don't do their chores. You got kids now getting paid and don't produce anything. In the rest of the world, Shane, that never happens, does it?
No, it's that's why I don't like the pay for play. That's exactly what it is. It's not name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
It's pay for play. And I have no problems with athletes getting paid.
Yeah.
If you've produced, right? Just a kid coming out of high school, you have no idea how that guy is going to translate to play in the college football game. How many times have you seen guys that are highly rated and being paid a lot of money never pan out? Now, once you get there and you produce and do your job and do what you're supposed to do academically and, within the community or whatever, and they want to pay you, that's fine. But just flat out outbidding people, it makes no sense. They got to find some rules and regulations quickly.
Yeah. All right. Now we got the CFP. We got 3 SEC schools. Georgia and Ole Miss going to play tomorrow. Alabama and Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Let's talk about first that matchup at the Sugar Bowl.
Well, it was a heck of a game the first time they played. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Pete Golden has one game under his belt as the head coach. I like the Ole Miss team a lot. I mean, let's sit here and talk about a guy who wasn't highly recruited in Trinidad Chambliss, has played as well as anybody in America at the quarterback position. So, but I'm going to predict Georgia to win. Kirby Smart is the best coach in America, in my opinion. What he's done at Georgia is very similar to what Coach Spurrier did at Florida, going back to his alma mater. I think the world of Kirby Smart. His kids know how to win games, and they find ways to win games.
Yeah, and they play the full 60, and you look at they don't take plays off. It's a lot of fun to watch them play. Alabama and Indiana. I mean, we'll look at the dichotomy here. Alabama, 14 5-stars on the roster, something like 55 4s and 17 3s. Flip to Indiana, historically the losingest program in the history of college football. 0 5-stars, 7 4s, and 52 3s, and a bunch of unranks. And Dave Bartu's on our show a lot, College Football Matrix. He says the 4-year run, when Cignetti was at James Madison and IUPA, and then these 2 years at Indiana is the greatest he's seen in his lifetime. Would you agree with that? I think it just considering where he is, I think alone puts him in that category. But I don't know if he's the greatest ever.
Well, I mean, I don't know a whole. I mean, I know he had a lot of success at those other schools other than Indiana. He's a hell of a football coach. He's got a really good staff. Look, they know how to coach, and they find little diamonds in the rough. I mean, Mendoza. I have people that don't even know where he came from. He's from Miami, went to high school there, went to Cal, and decided to transfer to Indiana. It's not like he was some highly sought after 5-star quarterback. He does all the things I mentioned very, very well.
Yeah.
But look, Indiana's a great story. I'm not sure what to make of Alabama. I just still have a hard time thinking Indiana's going to win this game. I don't know if it's just because of the team with the numbers on their helmets, running out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an upset here and pick Alabama to win.
I am too. And you know what, Shane? You know how many 100+ yard rushers they had in the game this season? And they're 11-3 despite this.
None, probably.
They had one. Jam Miller had like 113 in one game. But that's where we are in college football. What do you think about Ty Simpson? By the way, folks, we're talking to Shane Matthews, Pod Up, one of the best podcasts in America, knows college football, the quarterback position, like talking to Albert Einstein about the theory of relativity. Your thoughts on Ty Simpson, Shane?
He's a good player. I want to say he's a coach's son.
He is.
Am I correct?
Yeah, Dad's the coach at UT Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Look, he does. I know he was highly recruited. I mean, you go to Alabama, you're going to be highly recruited, but he does a lot of things really, really well. He's had a really good year. I know he's had a couple of games where things didn't go so well, but his leadership skills, you can tell the team believes in him. And but for them to win tomorrow, I think Ty has to have a big, big game.
Yeah, and I asked you earlier this season about what advice would you give a quarterback, and it was a team going on the road. And I think you said Coach Spurrier would say, hey, go out, do what we do, throw the ball around, have fun doing it, and let's get the win. You've got that cool, laid-back attitude, and I love to listen to you and Sean Kelly on the Florida Gator Football Network because, like your coach, Steve Spurrier, you seem to be 3 or 4 plays ahead of what's happening. What do you think about Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and the offense Alabama's running this year? The fact that they can get this far without a real running game.
Well, I think they're a lot better this year offensively with Ryan Grubb coming on board, right? He wasn't there in year one. Again, I don't get to watch Alabama play week in and week out due to our games, but I like their creativity, what they do offensively. They got some playmakers on the outside. Now, obviously, they have not run the football like an Alabama team has done in the past, but Ty Simpson and all those skill guys, they can cause a lot of problems. So I look for them. Kalen DeBoer, if you look at his track record, I know some of these Alabama people, they get upset with it. But if you look at his track record as a head coach, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, if we'd have listened to that lady on Twitter that said if she won the lottery, remember, she'd write the check for $69 million. I mean, who's got a better resume when Coach Saban retired? Who had a better, sexier resume than Kalen DeBoer? And something funny, Greg McElroy, speaking at the Touchdown Club, we have a spring and summer speaker series, and we need to get you up there. You'd be great. And Greg McElroy, I'm seriously going to say, he goes, when Kalen DeBoer first got to Alabama, he would go to booster functions and alumni functions and just out in public. He was giving out his cell phone number to people. And Greg McElroy said, he goes, I pulled him aside and said, you haven't lost a game or played a game here yet, even when you win. Can you believe that? I mean, he's such a nice guy. If you've ever met him, he'll talk to anybody. But I think he's a hell of a coach.
He's very good. Hopefully he's got a new cell phone and changed his number.
Exactly, man. Oh, Shane, look, I know you're busy. We got to get you back on next week if you can. And tell people how they can follow you and your podcast. We're going to go out to Dallas to Ken Capps. I know you got to focus on driving safety first, but I think a lot of people want to follow you. It's a great show to listen to and watch right as a lead in to our show every morning, and you'll be smarter for it.
Yeah, we're 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to it on any of your podcast platforms. We're on everything. It's called Pot Up with Matthews in the morning. Been doing it for about 5 years. Never thought I'd be doing a podcast, but it's gotten bigger and bigger every year. We like to have a lot of fun on our program, and we love to have some new listeners.
Yeah. Well, you know, the bottom line is Buddy Martin's on there. You have great guests, and it's definitely something it's must listen to, must watch every day. Shane, Happy New Year. Thanks more than you know for sharing your time. And again, we'll do it next week.
Anytime, Rob. Appreciate it, buddy. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Let's bring in Ken Capps. Let me just guess. I am from the parking lot of a 7-Eleven in the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth. And I love the riders. That was cool with Shane. He's driving safety first, as we know, Shane. But when you can get Shane on, you get him on.
Hey, I pulled over, Rob.
I know. So look, I saw your notes yesterday, and you're not just great son to your mom, great husband and father to your kids. I mean, I get stuff from you almost every day. I love it. It absolutely makes my day. And, you bring your kids into what you do. It's a passion. It's not work. And I love your notes. You do prepare like a trial lawyer. So you're in Dallas right now. Put the turkey leg down in the funnel cake and the powdered sugar. You're a lean, mean fighting machine. Let's talk about this Miami-Ohio State matchup and how you see it playing out.
Well, boy, I tell you, media day for the Cotton Bowl was very revealing, and I was very impressed with how both coaches were really, really candid, and there wasn't a lot of coach speak going on. And the way I look at this game is this: Miami and Ohio State are coming at the Cotton Bowl at this quarterfinal game from two different directions. Okay, Miami is coming in on a high from beating Texas A&M at their house, okay, and coming in on a real high. They've always been looked at as the underdog. They're not supposed to be here, and here they are. And then you have Ohio State, who lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, and really are. That really hit them hard. And I really thought after that game, okay, they lost to Indiana. They'd have one loss. I mean, they'll shake it off. But I directly asked Ryan Day at Media Day. I said, look, how do you think the loss to Indiana is going to affect your play at the Cotton Bowl? And he could have given me some kind of, coaches speak answer. It didn't affect us at all, or, it's fine. But, I mean, he gave me a really compelling answer. First of all, he said that that loss ripped the scab off of several things that we've had to work on all season long. And I mean, boy, what a soundbite for all the reporters out there. Rip the scab off, and of course, they haven't addressed some things, obviously, because they're winning games, they're blowing everybody out. So they've been ignoring some things that came out in the Indiana game that cost them a loss. Secondly, he said, we have to rebuild momentum for this game. And I was like, wow, they have to rebuild momentum. These guys have been crushing everybody all year. They have to rebuild momentum. And that really struck me. And I've noticed that looking at the clips the last couple of days, that quote has been all over the internet about Ohio State needs to rebuild momentum for the Cotton Bowl. So I was very impressed by his being so honest about it. Now look at the other hand at Mario Cristobal. I asked him what he thought about being the underdog for the game. And, he was very indignant about it. He goes, the term underdog means nothing to me. It means nothing to our team, and he's got a real chip on his shoulder, for everybody talking about Miami. They weren't supposed to be in the 12, the Notre Dame being left out for Miami, this, that, and the other. So he's sick and tired of being, called the underdog. And, again, just very candid. And so I think you're going to see a really good game. I mean, Ohio State is favored in this game by a lot. But, you've got Carson Beck, who's been playing well. And you've got a great Miami defense that held the Aggies, down at their house. So I think it's going to be a very intriguing game on tonight at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, and we had Ellis Johnson and Pete Cordelli, two longtime coaches. We're talking on the show Monday morning. They've got Miami to win. I'm taking Miami to win too. I think Miami's playing some salty-ass defense. Sad.
Yeah, they are.
And look, that College Station, you go in there, 110,000 people swaying and yelling and hollering and cheering, and that collie dog
waving
howling.
Waving their towel.
That's a wild atmosphere. They may be the nicest fans in all of college football, though. They are. Everyone
I wouldn't go that far, Rob. I wouldn't go that far.
Everyone I know that goes there says they really are. But you also need to be like a little bit of LSU in you. It's just their fans get a little bit kind of Braveheart. All right, let me ask you. Here's a question from RS Sports. Browne, if UGA, that being the University of Georgia, advances, which team would Kirby's Canines match up better against, Ohio State or Miami? Just from what you know about Georgia, Ken, and also Miami and Ohio State, I'll let you answer that question. Ken Capps, Football Writers Association of America people, 6-man Texas football guy, is a walking museum of college, high school, and just what we love about football.
Amen. Thank you so much. That's a high compliment. Well, I think they'd match up better against Miami. And I think if Miami and Georgia played, I think Georgia would win that game. I think if Ohio State and Georgia played, man, that would be a slugfest. And I think that would go down to the very, very, last second of the game. So, I still think that Ohio State's going to win this game tonight. But I don't think they're going to blow them out at all. And, if Miami plays the defense that they played in the first round against the Aggies, I think you're going to have a very close game. As usual, it all boils down to turnovers and special teams. But I still think Ohio State wins this game. And I think that they've really got something to prove after losing that game at Indiana. I mean, that really, really hit them hard. And like I said before, I was very surprised. I mean, I talked to Justin Sand, I talked to Jeremiah Smith, I talked to Carnell Tate, I talked to all those guys, and they were all singing the same song that, hey, man, that really knocked the wind out of our sails. We've got to rebuild our momentum. We've got to rebuild our confidence. And so I think they're going to come in there, with their hair on fire and want to prove something. But then Miami wants to prove too, hey, we still belong in this playoff. So I think it's going to be a really cool game. I'm really looking forward to driving out there in a few hours and getting involved in the festivities. The Cotton Bowl, it's just the 90th year of the Cotton Bowl, man, the 90th year. And it's such a granddaddy of bowls. I mean, of course, the granddaddy is the Rose Bowl, but it's been around since the 30s. And so, and especially here in the Metroplex, Rob, we're in the Metroplex. I know
we are. We are.
They played at Jerry World now, but I mean, it's just such a grand tradition around here, and they have so many great activities. And we just love this game here in our area. And it just brings so much joy to this area, especially on New Year's Eve. And of course, it used to be played on New Year's Day every year. So I'm just really excited to be out there, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
It is. The only sad thing about it being at Jerry's World is the menu. They won't have all that low-cal diet food like you have at the Cotton Bowl. Turkey legs, funnel cakes. And Big Tex won't, howdy, folks. Come in here, 70-foot cow. Dudley Dawson's going to be in here with us in a moment. We lost him inside Arkansas, and I'd love to get you on here with him. He's been doing it a long time. Again, y'all writers like you, like Dudley, Tony Barnhart yesterday, you just get better like that great bottle of wine in the cellar. It's just, or aged bourbon. Your insight, what you see. Tony said, by the way, Barnhart yesterday, he got to spend time. There's a diner in Norman, Oklahoma that Barry Switzer goes to every Friday or Saturday. And he said, just watching the people come in there and lined up to get a picture or an autograph. We had Coach Switzer on the show, I don't know, about 5 or 6 weeks ago. No holds barred. Women and children.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, but isn't that what we love about college football? And we had Mac Browne on back in late September. What a cool guy over here in Memphis. We call it where where he's from. He's from the Gap, the Cumberland Gap, and it's just so much fun to talk to these coaches. And he's got a me room. And you know who else said? He said his good friend R.C. Slocum. You know R.C., don't you?
Sure.
Okay. He's got him a me room. You've got a hook'em hut. Is that some deal in Texas? I want a me room.
I got a me room that's also a hook'em hut.
Y'all both have, I can see your me room. You're signaling your me rooms right now. I mean, come on.
There we go. All right.
What I always tell people about my hook'em hut is that, some people say, oh man, you've got a great man cave. I said, you're insulting me by calling it a man cave. It's about 3 levels above a man cave. Okay. So, yeah. So
I like that me room. That's me room, not your room. Me room.
That's right. I like that.
He's got a room. I know about his rooms.
The other thing was going to be great, Brendan, is that I'm going to go out to the Cotton Bowl and get there early enough to watch the Citrus Bowl and watch the Horns play Michigan. So that's going to be a lot of fun too, to watch that with all my reporter brothers out there.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. And Dudley, hopefully everything's working out. I want Dudley to get in this conversation. But Ken, the crowd out there, it's going to be, I'm sure, sold out. And I think Dallas-Fort Worth, the Metroplex, is the 3rd or 4th largest alumni base for Ohio State University in America. I bet you outside the state of Arkansas, Dudley could comment and verify this. Dallas-Fort Worth is the biggest alumni center for Arkansas alumni, and as is San Antonio and Houston. And that's why so many Texas kids are coming back, because their parents went to Arkansas. They moved to Texas and they come back up there. So it's pretty much an amazing deal. Dudley Dawson, Inside Arkansas in Fayetteville, jumping here with Ken Capps, Football Writers Association of America. We're talking a little about the Cotton Bowl down at Jerry's World. And Dudley, jump in.
I don't know if Dudley is hearing us, but
hopefully Dudley can hear us, but we'll get it worked out.
Looks like he's got a cool background going on there. Oh, we got to put those things on.
There we go.
You there, Dudley?
Batter swing, batter. Dudley, how you doing this morning?
We'll
get it worked out.
It is the holidays still.
Yeah, so. It is New Year's Eve.
Everyone's got new toys. So.
Yeah, as soon as he's ready, Dudley, just jump in when can you hear us now?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, Dudley.
Dudley plays in a band. He's the drummer. No
wonder he can't hear.
That's right. Dudley, look, Ken's down at the Cotton Bowl covering that Miami-Ohio State matchup. He'll see his Horns and Michigan play. But what are your thoughts on these CFP matchups, starting with that one tonight in Dallas?
Well, I think that Ohio State obviously has, other than that last ball game, has proven it was the best team in the regular season. And I think that they have the opportunity, to go out there and win another national title. I do like the Miami with the underdog label, though. I think that, that could spur them on a little bit. As someone who used to cover Nolan Richardson, I know that one game he could come out with some motivational speeches that put you over the top. So I expect it to be a really good game, and I expect my TVs to get wore out this weekend.
Ken, y'all remember when Elvis had TVs so we could watch all the network news at once, and every now and then he'd just shoot the TVs up. I was actually at Graceland one time, by the way, and we're taking the tour like 1983. I'm not kidding you. And this woman comes downstairs and goes in the kitchen. And we're like, who is this? Her name was Delta Biggs. It was one of his aunts. Family members came out of the woodwork when he died. Remember that? And she went in there, and we watched her actually make a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. And she used about a half a stick of butter. I mean, I'm just
well, I hope so.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Ken, I want to bounce around, and I'll keep it for just a minute, Ken, because Vince Ferrara is going to be on from the Sports Animal in Knoxville. You look at college football right now. and the interest, it's there. The crowds are there. Social media is ripping these kids that are hitting the portal. I don't think NIL is as much of a problem as the lack of commitment. And people are not going to the other team because they want to be developed or play better. They're just going for a bigger check. I'm a capitalist pure through and through, okay? But I've also been rewarded for moving from company A to company B, and I had a 5-year contract, and my ass was there for 9 years, okay?
Yep.
Till you honor your. We're not teaching. What the hell are we teaching these kids? Dudley's got 4. You've got 2. I've got 4. What are we teaching them?
Well, I tell you, that's a real hot spot for me right now because, you've got 20 kids that have opted out for Texas in the Citrus Bowl today. Texas is down to 65 scholarship players from 85. 7 people, 7 starters on defense are not going to play. All 4 of the top running backs for Texas are gone. Okay, they're going to be playing people that the guy that is probably going to play the most, Christian Clark, has had 29 carries all year. The rest of the guys have had no carries. Okay, you may see Ryan Niblett, the All-American punt returner, playing at running back, but Michael Taft, the All-American, who's a senior, okay, opted out not to play this game. The leader and the soul of this team, who was a walk-on, who was given a chance, an opportunity by Steve Sarkisian and given a scholarship on this team, decided to abandon his team. Trey Wisner, okay, the leading rusher at Texas, decided 2 hours before the plane was leaving for Orlando to drop into the portal and not go with his team. I mean, I don't care if it's Texas or Michigan or Ohio State or, Timbuktu University. I just think that's wrong. And I think that the portal date has got to change so this stuff stops happening. I don't even know if that'll change it. But the fact that, that these students, athletes, and they are supposed to be student athletes still, are not honoring their commitment to their university and playing out the whole season, it's just, it just really saddens me. It doesn't make me angry. It saddens me because it also devalues the bowls. And of course, that, we knew that was going to happen with the playoffs. So now the Citrus Bowl, which is like the top bowl for the SEC outside of the playoffs, now it's kind of like, meh, and that's too bad. Michigan and Texas should be a premier game. And now, of course, with everything that's happened at Michigan too, let's not forget about that. And they've got several players that have opted out. Yeah. I don't know how that game's going to turn out today. And there's going to be so many people not playing. Thank God that, and of course, I thought it was interesting. I read a great article the other day that, both Peyton and Archie have both played in the Citrus Bowl. And of course, now Arch is going to play in it. And of course, I knew that Arch was going to play. But I don't know. So that's kind of a long answer to a short question. But I'm saddened by the fact that all these guys around the country have opted out of their team to not play in the bowl.
Yeah, I am too. Ken, look, I'll let you go. Football Writers Association of America. You're one of the best. Let people know how they can follow you on Twitter, all social media platforms. And Happy New Year. And thanks more than always for sharing your time with us. We'll do it again next week.
Well, happy New Year to everybody on this show and to all of our viewers. Y'all are great. I'm just so honored to talk with y'all and be on the western fringe of the SEC over here. Right. And, y'all can find me on Twitter at Texas Six Man Ken, and we'll be tweeting from the Cotton Bowl today for sure.
I'll be watching it. It's like being there when you're there watching it. Hey, take care, man.
Take care.
Happy New Year, Dudley. Man, here's a question already from RS Sports. Is that Blind Squirrel Sports? Dudley, will Arkansas regret not being able to reel in a commitment from record-setting QB Kane Archer? And answer that question. And then I see Vince Ferrara in the checkerboard orange and white background. He lives at Neyland Stadium. Dudley?
Yes, I believe so. Kane Archer had a fabulous career here at Arkansas, and I guess now in 2 days he's going to be headed to Utah. He did not get the attention that he wanted from Bobby Petrino when he was here at Arkansas. Get this: Bobby Petrino visits when Bobby Petrino is the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. He visits him 5 times in Greenwood. When he comes to the University of Arkansas, he never visits him. Has decided that he wants a taller quarterback. Kane is 6'1". He's an unbelievable winner. Only lost 1 game in his high school career. That was his final game to Shiloh Christian, but 38-1, I think. And he's just so far ahead of the pack in terms of mental power and maturity and all that. And I'm telling you, if you want to miss on a quarterback, you better not miss on one that's a record-setting one in Arkansas. I don't care if he's 6'1", 6'5", whatever. He did an interview with Pig Trail Nation last night that probably, why this question is popping up. Just, you sit there and you say, what's going on here? And Arkansas's down to 2 quarterbacks on campus, and they should run out and offer him today. Apparently they called him on the first Sunday night. They called his coach on that first Sunday night, and hadn't talked to him since then. It's, I'll give a lot of credit to Coach Silverfield and his staff, but I don't understand that. I didn't understand it from Bobby Petrino, and I don't understand it from pretty much anybody else. I mean, I know he's 6'1", but I've seen a few quarterbacks in 40 years or whatever. I've been watching football 60 years. I guess it is now 40. Give me a break. Yeah. You can just tell who's a winner. You can just see who make plays. And again, I go to the point, if you're going to make a mistake, make it on the instate, kid.
Yeah, I totally agree. Vince, watched Tennessee last night.
6'1's not that big a deal, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm 6'4". Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. And if he's a winner, he's a winner. Vince, we were watching Tennessee last night. Brent Bielema or whatever. I never gotten that name. Brent Bielema, Illinois. That guy's winning games. Tennessee, this is the question I got to ask you. Is the frustration, because I was watching it with a bunch of Vols, my wife, cousin Mark. He goes, he hadn't beaten a team with a winning record all year. But I don't know how that compares to the rest of the SEC. But give me the temperature, your opinion of where Tennessee is at the end of this season. Was it a jump ball for the season? What did they accomplish? Give me a grade: A, B, C, D, F, whatever.
Well, great to be on with you guys. Hope you guys had an awesome Christmas and happy holidays to everybody watching. To answer your question, Rob, I think it depends on who you talk to. I don't think you can put and this fan base is kind of famous for it with the wide-ranging opinions on what you get. You get some that are Vol Twitter. You get some that will call in shows and post on message boards and be outspoken. You get some that talk at the water cooler. You get some that are never, will go public with their comments. But then when you catch them in the spaghetti / pasta aisle in the grocery store or at a remote, then they're like, what's going on with this? I'm a little frustrated with this.
Yeah.
So it is all over the place right now because there have been more disappointments. It was more collective when Josh Heupel was taking the team to the playoffs and 2022 with Hendon Hooker. But there's a lot more outspoken frustration. We're done with Josh Heupel discussion. Even if it's from the minority, there is more of that conversation happening. And what happens is, as you throw an extra L up that fans do not think there's any way they should get, and that was the case with Vanderbilt, that was the case with this Illinois game, a mid Big Ten team in the eyes of the fan base, and you lose to them, and you don't really play that well, and you let them dictate the game, then yeah, you're going to have more people jumping on the bandwagon. They're going to read that stuff. They're going to hear that stuff and say, wait a minute. Yes, I'm tired of this. And so that portion of the fan base is growing. And look, they were like Missouri. They didn't beat anyone. At least Missouri in their bowl game had a chance to beat someone ranked in the top 25. That Illinois was not. Maybe they will be. And that will add to the teams they lost to. But still, Tennessee and Missouri were very similar. Now, that stuff is coming to an end with a 9-game schedule.
Yeah.
But yes, it is the the temperature among the fans, not among the university. He is by means no hot seat with the university. Yeah. But him making staff changes and the way they closed out this season, it has a lot of fans frustrated.
Dudley, Coach Silverfield, again, Sunday night, he's making a call. Can't get that kid out of Greenwood, which is a powerhouse football program.
He could get him if he offered him. I think it's pretty clear that Kane has made it clear that he would love to have played at Arkansas. And, there's some bad feelings there or really with Coach Petrino more than anything because he didn't want him. And I get it. Utah, by the way, plays Arkansas's second game of the year. If he's starting quarterback, I'm taking Utah in that game for sure. But it's one of those things. And I was listening to Vince talk, and I remember how at the start of the season, or really toward the mid of the season, I thought, man, this team's going to be in the playoffs. They're going to do great things. Joey Aguilar is going to be right there for the Heisman, and things fell off. And I understand it. Why people are frustrated. But you talk about frustration down here. My beautiful wife, Petra, my puppy, Tatum, and I are in Little Rock today. We're just down from War Memorial Stadium, where Arkansas won one of its 2 games this year. They won 1 game in Little Rock and 1 game in Fayetteville. And so the frustration, I get the level of Tennessee frustration, but come get some of this.
Well,
they're happy they get a new coach. And it's going to be a tough build in this transfer recruiting portal that will open on January 6th, as if it hadn't been already open unofficially. Is going to be huge in determining the mindset of many Arkansas football fans.
Well, you look at the players, top 33 in Arkansas. Let's top 10. Where does Arkansas stand? How we've already had an early signing date, and that's already happened. But give me the breakdown, those top 10 kids in state.
You and I have talked about this a lot. And before Coach Silverfield got here, the day after he got here, he flipped basically 4 of the best 5 players in Arkansas. And it tells you only 1 was coming here, before with the last staff. And how I harp all the time about how they need to get in-state kids and all that, be it Kane Archer or, whoever. But, he came in and built him some collateral there that first day. And, he had been recruiting those kids at Memphis. And, in fact, he offered Quincy Rose the first scholarship back when Quincy Rose, who's the outstanding defensive end for Arkansas, back when he was in high school. And I've been saying this a little bit, but the Buck James, who's the outstanding high school coach, he's now at Conway, has won 7 state championships, was at Browne, built a legacy there. He told me that Ryan Silverfield has recruited Arkansas better than any coach in the last 6 years here. And just think about it. That's an indictment of the staffs that were here. And this guy he's just across that big bridge. I like to go to Memphis all the time, but it's an indictment, but it also is a pat on the back to him.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say that you look in state, always go back every time. I just can't get Weston Dacus out of Searcy, Arkansas out of my mind. Just a tough, hard ass barroom fight breaks out at 3 a.m. That's who you want on guys like that, who would crawl to Fayetteville on their knees to play for the in-state kids. Always take a chance.
You want the type of kids that are playing for Harding.
Yeah.
And Harding has gone to 2 out of the last 3 national championships, won 1.
Yeah.
They have the guys that are playing for the love of the game, and I know that's hard to do these days. Yeah. As you were discussing with your previous guest, it's about money and switching teams and how can I get a better contract and lawyers and agents and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But it still goes back to you've got to find the kids that are not only talented, but just love the game.
Yeah. Kirby talks about that, Vince, all the time. I want kids who love ball. You love playing football. How much do you love this place? That's not a new concept, Vince, at all.
Man, I love hearing Kirby Smart talk on these topics in college athletics. He really has become the voice that Nick Saban was as a standing head coach. Saban certainly still talks about the big picture stuff, but he's absolutely right. And he has rings, he has skins on the wall. He has a tremendous program, so he can hold guys to that standard. Not everyone can do that. That's what's unfortunate about the current system. But I love that philosophy he has, and it should be about football and how much you love it and how much you're thinking about. Are you truly thinking about the NFL and progressing as a person? And if you progress as a person, you can progress as a player and then achieve everything you want to on the highest level. Or are you thinking about all of what people in their ears are saying, and that's get the money now while you can, because only this percentage of people will make it to the pros? Okay, well, then you're not going to take the best path to help you in your career. You're going to cash out instead of taking a chance on yourself, which you should have ultimate confidence in for you, not because everybody around you is telling you they're disrespecting you. You need to go get this money. Everyone's got interest around these kids, and it's influencing them to make the wrong decisions and be motivated by the wrong things. Some of that I get is society today, but the system certainly leads too many into making the wrong choices.
I was talking to someone who's in private equity healthcare, went into a practice recently, said, how many owners we got? He was 52. He goes, all right, I'll get back to you in 2 or 3 years. Because you're not going to get a decision made. You've got these agents, 15, 20%, gouging, loan sharking, usury. I mean, they're just pimps. That's basically what's happened. It's a disgrace. So, Dudley, I like what you said about Harding over there in Searcy, playing for 2 of the last 3 national championships. College football, let's kind of bounce around. It looks like Coach Silverfield is we're gonna make the state a priority, and they're gonna be serious about it. The fans, the season ticket holders, they're still doing it. They're still showing up. What? Look at there. Is that Daphne? There you go.
Showed up. It's Daphne.
I got a Daphne. I love it. Look at it. Hello, Daphne. Happy New Year. Dudley, you think about this. What's going to happen when 78,000 people in Fayetteville, someone organizes a walkout, fans walk out in the first half, say, we're done. We're hitting the portal. I mean, I'm being kind of silly saying this.
Well, I think, Rob, your perspective is a little different too, because when you're not in the South, like when I grew up in Colorado and the Buffs sucked, no one went. Like, you lose fast. Like, there's not the loyalty that there is in the South. The SEC has more echo chambers than any other place, in college football. Yeah. So I grew up in that. And let me tell you, you're not playing for the Natty. Look, I go skiing. Like I'm going hiking. I got other stuff to do. There's more, things for me to focus on as just the average fan. And I think that is a slippery slope.
Yeah, I think Arkansas will get over 70,000 when Georgia comes to town the 3rd game of the season, and that's one of the things with Coach Silverfield. He gets Alabama State to open the season at home. Yeah, there are no games in Arlington and no games in Little Rock next year. They're either in Fayetteville or at the other team's place. Then you go to Utah, and then you play Georgia. So welcome to the SEC, my man.
Yeah,
that's your welcome to the SEC, man. Odds are they'll be 1 and 2 after that. If you just base it off what you know today, you could have a sterling transfer portal class, but that's where you're going to be sitting, and then it's not going to get a lot easier. So, he knows the type of job he's got. He believes in himself. Obviously, Hunter Yurchek, the athletic director, believes in himself, but Arkansas will believe into him until he starts losing. And then, because they've gone 2-10 in 3 of the last 8 years, I think it is something like that. They want to see some success. So that 2nd and 3rd game will be big in terms of how this program is going to move. And one of the other things, you're already recruiting a high school class again before you ever play the first game in 2026. So you will have 2. You won't have signed them, but we all know how it is these days. Yeah. All these kids commit during the spring and summer. So at least I've got new narratives to write about. And I'll just be honest, I was getting tired of the old one.
Yeah. Daphne, what do you think?
I mean, that's about right.
Damn right it is.
I mean, that's good as anybody else is saying.
All right there. Okay.
Dad's going to leave here in a little bit. That's what she's focused on.
Well, but, Vince, look at Tennessee right now. We all love college basketball. Football fuels all of this stuff. Donations, they're coming in. there's only so long people will pay for this. Like how many times you go to a restaurant and the service sucks and the food sucks, and how many more times are you going to go back?
It depends on a lot of things.
Well, the atmosphere can make you go back.
Is there somebody I want to see? Is the atmosphere good?
Yeah.
Like, is it close to home?
Yeah.
Like, does it have good wings? Because you can have bad food and still have good wings.
Vince, look.
I mean, Hooters made a whole business out of it. So
that's a great point, Vince.
Yeah, and have you already been there and had success? So do they have a little bit of wiggle room in case they do have bad service? Do you have a track record? Is it your first time? With these fan bases, they already have that. They already have the good times to reflect on, and for some, a lot of frustrations also. But it's not a clean slate where you're just walking in for the first time and you make a permanent judgment based on one time. So it is pretty complicated in how everyone reacts to it. But Brendan said there's a lot of factors involved. So the key is the portal, and that's what a lot of fans turn to is how can we quick fix this? And so I'm sure there's with a lot of fan bases, and you guys, Dudley, wants to know who you're bringing in the portal, who's still going to enter the portal. That was the case for Tennessee. We'll watch today to see how many guys after their game end up hitting the portal. That's the case with all these teams playing bowl games after the college football playoffs, where some of them, they go deeper, will have an extended window. That's another change to this is the needle. Well, the goalposts will keep moving. Do you get a bunch of people bailing on you to add to the frustrations? And then does it come back if you bring in some elite level players in the portal? So this is the frustration meter and the support meter. It's a constantly moving deal, and just kind of day to day, you got to ride the wave.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Arkansas football fans who moved right on to basketball about the time that Coach Pittman was let go and Coach Petrino was elevated. Now here you come Saturday, you have Arkansas and Tennessee playing in the conference opener. One of these fan bases needs some love, needs some winning, and that's going to happen Saturday. Arkansas started, 0-6 last year in SEC play.
Yeah. If
they win one game, if they win Saturday, they'll continue the good feelings around here. But here's what I'll say about their overall feelings. They football is king here, just like we were talking, just like it is pretty much every place else in the SEC. They better go get some good kids in the portal to get them going and get the fans' excitement level back up, because it's not Happy Valley around here.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think both these fan bases now are just looking for wins and something to be excited about. Now that the family's gone, the presents are gone, and at our house, we had 5 dogs for Christmas. That was fun.
Nice.
Wow, that's a lot of poop.
That's a lot of hounds, man. Well, Vince, college basketball, SEC last year, we're not going to have, I don't see us, 14 out of 16 schools made the tournament. This year, some people think maybe 5. A lot of guys left, and then a lot of these guys that have come back. And here they would say, people know what they're getting. They know, and boy, if they're getting more money and they come back and they're not producing like they are expected to, you're getting a lot of cynicism among the fans. You do a morning show 5 days a week before you come on here. What's the conversation like with your callers on 99.1, the sports animal in Knoxville?
In terms of basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's there, but it's way behind football. And look, as the year goes on, once it's not even like when football's done, because the topics of conversation with the portal and everything continue on in the off season, and especially when you're trying to get a quarterback, and maybe it's in the one of the elite quarterbacks that are out there, and that's really at the very top of the fans' thought process right now. So those things are going to distract basketball. They'll check in on it. They're playing non-conference games against South Carolina State and that kind of stuff. So, right now it's not exciting. Once you get into SEC play and then it gets a little bit quieter from a football standpoint, I think it will pick up some. They're paying attention. But look, they had a 3-game losing streak that frustrated fans for a minute also, and then they got back on track a little bit. But still,
Is it basketball season?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't pay attention.
I mean, look,
It's
tomorrow. Tomorrow I start paying attention to that.
Yeah, I love this Indian Pass Pirate. I figured he was a Gator from birth, growing up down there right before the Big Bend in Florida. Grew up going to games, Dudley, at War Memorial Stadium. I'll make a prediction right now. I'm gonna make a statement. You know what gets football coaches fired? It ain't the athletic director. It's not necessarily the record. It's when the fans quit showing up or they leave in the second quarter. When this starts happening, this is when the portal and this NIL stuff will be brought under control. When they stop coming. But people, if you have bad service at a restaurant and bad food and people quit coming, you start looking around. You fire the chef. You get new waiters. You got greasy salt and pepper shakers and dirty bathrooms. We better pay attention because this is where but until the fans start boycotting and walking out, guys, Dudley, Vince, everybody watching.
My dog's trying to make an appearance.
Okay.
I know. Where's my dog?
But the fans are going to start punching back. It's inevitable. And when they do, these elitist pinheads that are running college athletics into the ground better wake up.
Well,
what's that dog's name?
I'm going to say in the words of Tony Barnhart yesterday, where he says, calm down. Everything is going to be.
No, I understand that. Not even
Tony told us all to relax.
No, I understand that. It just makes you mad. I'm with you. We're still going to watch the games, but I'm telling you, to make a statement, that something like that's got to happen. But once kickoff comes, it's game on. We love it, and that's the way it is, guys. But I mean,
well, I think the Arkansas fans have not moved to the apathetic thing yet, which is amazing. Because they very well could. They're still angry about things. It is interesting to me. There's been, I guess, 10 defensive players that who have decided to get into the portal, and most of the fans here are like, good. They sucked defensively. I mean, they were horrible defensively.
Right.
So, but you have a running back or a wide receiver or a quarterback go, and they're like they get upset. But it's at least they're keeping it real.
Yeah, Vince.
Well, we went through this with Florida, Vince. Like we went through this when Billy Napier came in. I think there was 39 guys or something crazy left. I don't remember the number. So between 25 and 35 guys that Billy Napier got rid of right off the bat. I mean, I've had 10 years of this, gentlemen. So like this is what happens. Like this is the yard sale that you're going to see. And I think it's indicative of any team that gets a new coach, Vince.
As of a couple of days ago, Oklahoma had 41 players leave. Auburn a couple of days ago had 22, which is
28 now.
28, okay. And a number of them are, top 100 or whatever in terms of the transfer portal rankings right now. They've had elite players leave. So do they get those back? I mean, it's insane, but it is part of the deal. You can't get the numbers back in total because you're bringing in a signing class, but you better hit on them. So the hit percentage of that portal means a lot. And you better not have swings and misses in the portal, or else that's when you find yourself behind. But you can't be too young. Tennessee was the youngest team in the SEC, and older teams win in college sports today, not just in football, but in basketball. So you have to hit the right guys and then be older and not rely too much on those young players and think that playing them is going to get you the ultimate success, because other than a spot here and there, if you do it too much, it's not a winning recipe in today's world.
Yeah, Arkansas has been number one in one thing over the past 2 years. That's a number of people who've transferred out in the transfer portal. They've led the nation in that. They're not going to do it this year because it's not. You're not flying out the door this time.
Yeah, it is crazy, guys. We got to wrap. Happy New Year, Vince Ferrara, Sports Animal, Knoxville, Dudley, Dawson, Inside Arkansas. Two of the best. Thank you more than you know. This is awesome. We'll see you next year, next Wednesday. So, but anyway, be careful up there in that snow. And you, Vince, have fun at Mama Ferrara's. One day we'll get her on here. Give us a recipe or two, but y'all take care always.
Right.
Thank you.
On the ReliQuest Bowl down the street, Vanderbilt and Iowa. See you guys.
Get her done.
Have fun with that. There's like 10 people there. I heard. All right.
Let's see it.
All right.
Hey, I went to the Outback Bowl last year. I think it was. I don't remember.
Did you get a blooming onion?
I don't know. It wasn't the Outback. It was worse. Wherever Florida went last year, I just tried to put it out of my memory.
Hey, let me say this. Most often we see the face.
Florida didn't go anywhere.
among us. Check out all of our sponsors, LandersFordMemphis.com. Open every day of the week except Sunday. Rumble Boxing, How You Fight's How You Live. Hewlett and Dunn, Boot and Clothing Company on the historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. And HempForPros.com. These gummies absolutely work. Got a bag of these energy gummies right here. HempForPros.com. For executive producer Brendan Martin, as we go into the next year, we've already started our New Year's resolutions. Nobody will ever outwork us. The only easy day was yesterday. Stay tuned to this channel. We're just getting started. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, buddy.